Hi, welcome back to another episode of BS with Bella, and I'm with Ryan Wesley.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks
That's
for
a good.
coming.
Yeah, anytime, anytime. What's going on, Bella?
So I know you were like a dance slash pop recording artist. When did you get into
I
that?
was. I got into that several years ago. One should never really tell their age. I mean, we can always look young, no matter how old we are. No, I got into that because I was always a theater person, so I was
Mhm.
technically a showbiz kid. I started singing and dancing when I was maybe 12.
Wow.
And the only reason I got into that was because my there were two girls in my grade school that were in this like newspaper, and I told my mom, I said, "Mom, why am I not in the newspaper? I have to be in the newspaper." And she's like, and they were doing this place called Theater in the Park, and
Okay.
I wanted to be in the newspaper. So my mom's like, "Ryan, you can never go do that. Those kids have had singing and dancing lessons." And I'm like, "Watch me." So
Watch me show you.
that's right. So I did. I got in, and I just had a natural talent. Like I was a singer. It also helped that I was a guy, and I started performing as a child, and from that point on, like it was literally that was my life, was singing and dancing, taking classes,
hmm
um, performing. I mean, I did even in high school. I was doing 8 shows a week doing professional theater. So
Oh,
like
wow.
I like gave it my all, and that was like my passion in life. So yeah, I mean, I started young. I started when I was 12.
And you
I'm not
like knew
12
you,
anymore,
yeah, and you knew you
you
had a
know.
talent for it.
I knew, I don't know about the talent. I just knew I loved it. Like, I was passionate about it, and I could not stop. I breathed it and I loved it. And then it just kind of kept going. And that's when I moved to New York.
hmm
Um, and then I started doing like Broadway shows like Aida. I did South Pacific. I was on tour most of the time.
hmm
It's funny, you move to New York and all of a sudden you end up on tour half the time.
Yeah, like
Um,
you went in there like
I did.
headstrong.
I was actually really fortunate. I was young. I was 20 when I moved to New York, and it just you keep going. Like when you're focused and you're driven, like you can do anything you want.
hmm
So people tell you, "Oh no, you'll never make it." Whatnot? No, you just keep going and going and going. The best advice I ever got when I moved to New York was I asked this dancer that I knew, and she was a very successful dancer, and she said, "I go, what do I do? You know, give me some advice." She's like, "Keep your head up." She goes, "Keep your head up," and I was like, that's all the advice you can give me is keep my head
That's
up.
it? Like
And like it was literally it was an audition I was going to, and I didn't get it, and I was devastated. And I just heard
Mhm.
her in my head going, "Keep your head up." And so, it's all about numbers and just staying with it and like
Yeah.
giving it literally your all. So back to your question, I mean, doing this when I was 12,
Yeah.
you know.
When did you go from Broadway to LA? Because I know you're from Kansas City. So you went from Kansas City to
Yeah.
New York and then
Yeah.
New York to
I've been
LA. A lot of moving for you.
I do. So I started obviously in Kansas City. I moved to New York. I was on tour with Aida, and we had an opportunity to go to LA. And I had visited because I kind of started dabbling in like the recording. So
Mhm.
when I was doing the shows and whatnot, I was recording, and I met producers and
Yeah.
like writers, and they were kind of trying to develop me and whatnot. And I was doing
Yeah.
demos. But I moved to LA because I was actually on tour with Aida,
hmm
and that gave me the opportunity to move to LA. I moved to LA really because I was tired, and I love New York. It's my phone number is still a New York City number.
Oh, really?
Um, but I loved the palm trees in Los Angeles. I was like, hell yeah, I want to go there. So no, I love both of them equally, but
Yeah.
LA it's just totally different vibes. Like it's totally different.
Yes. I can kind of
Um,
see that.
yeah, and I just had an opportunity to move to LA, and I took it. Um, in hindsight, maybe I wouldn't have taken it. I would stayed in New York a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
the LA thing, I just decided to. Why not? I'm young. Always do things when you're young
Yeah.
because you won't be able to do it when you're older. I mean, you can do it.
That's
Like
some
you
great
totally can
advice,
do
though.
it.
Just take it. Like, if you
But
have
like,
the opportunity, just take it.
do it. If you can do it, just do it. Don't ask questions. Just do it. Because you only live once, and that's really really important. So yeah, that's how I ended up in LA.
And
I
so then
don't know.
when
It was
did you start
cool.
recording music? And like, how'd you get
So,
picked up from that?
so when I moved to LA, I had done a few demos. I did this stuff for a show in Vegas, and just worked with a bunch of producers. Then I
hmm
got signed to a development deal, and then life kind of kicks you in the teeth.
Yeah.
So about the time I got signed to a development deal, my mom was visiting me in LA
Mhm.
and had a massive, massive stroke.
Oh my
So I actually had
God.
to go back to Kansas City and I flew her back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I took care of her for 9 years. And, that development deal went away.
Yeah.
However, what's crazy is this is one thing that was weird to me is I did the music technically. I signed with a European dance label, living in Kansas City, taking care of my mom.
Oh
So I would
wow.
perform and do things like I would open for Patti LaBelle at Pittsburgh Pride, um,
Oh
while like on the weekend. So I take care of my
yeah.
mom, and then it was just this weird world.
You were balancing like personal plus trying to like figure out like your career in the same time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just kept, you just have to go, you just can't
Yeah.
stop. That's the main thing. You just got to keep going. You have to make the best of each situation. So that's what I did. And that's what I'm still doing now. It's
Yeah.
just keep going. You got to keep going. My mom always told me, she's like, if something happens to me, you just keep going. So I've always kept that with me. Like, you just keep going. You keep going, keep doing.
Going, keeping your head up like the dancer told you.
And you got to keep your head up a lot in life. Yeah, yeah.
What was your most like icon? I saw your video. I did
You
look
saw
at
the video.
your music video and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
website and the different outfits. What would your like the most iconic outfit in your like music era was?
So what's weird is I'd shot the one video and I actually took it down. Um, because at the time I wasn't strong enough really to
Yeah.
deal with the feedback and the criticism that people
Hmm.
give you. Like I started reading all the bad that it was pretty awful. People can be really awful on the internet.
People can be
Um,
really mean.
oh my gosh, it was awful. And I actually just couldn't take it. And plus it's about the time my mom had this like was technically dying and I had cancer at the time too. And I said, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Take it down.
Hmm.
Um, but I've put it back up and yeah, it was we had a lot of views then. So it was at the time very cool. But my iconic outfit. So before I shot that video, I
Yeah.
had like actually 4 or 5 dance singles, I'm not sure, um, that led up to doing that video. You got to remember, I was living in Kansas City doing
Yeah.
the music.
Doing
Even that
all that.
video was shot, and I shot it in LA. But taking care of her, I didn't have a lot of all the money went to the music in a sense
Yeah.
that I had made performing. Um, but the music video came a little later because it was my one shot to like to produce or to do this
Yeah.
video, right? And I got to work with like some amazing people on this, like Brad Rushing, who did
Ooh.
Britney's. He did Britney's "Toxic." He did J Lo's "Waiting for Tonight,"
Oh,
and
so
so much
you had
everybody.
like that vibe, like
Yeah,
2000s, like
but if you look at my covers of all my singles, they're always either glitzy or there's something to them.
yeah.
However, with the music video, I incorporated all of my covers because that's all I really could do into that music video. So I'm gonna say there was 2 outfits. One was this gold um, jacket and pants suit kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like this. It actually hurt. All the stuff actually hurts that to
Oh
put on
wow,
because it
really?
scrapes your leg. Oh my
Oh.
god, it hurts so much. But it's this gold jacket that was made. I mean, it's just all gold, shiny. You've seen the video, you've seen it. And then I like to dance in my little sparkly underwear.
I saw that,
So
the purple one.
no, no,
The one on the
no. So they're
motorcycle?
yes, so they're on the motorcycle. So that's actually a black pair of them. I like the
Oh.
silver ones. I
Ooh.
was lucky to have this company called Modus Vivendi. They're out of Greece. Basically, gave me some of the stuff to wear
Oh my
for the
God.
music video, and it was like that's kind of like when people put branding and stuff in their video. I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to sell their company. They were. It was just it worked. But I would say the sparkly silver underwear, and then the gold jacket with the pants. That thing I still have it.
Iconic.
I still have them all. It was, and when people started like wearing like zip ups that like had the
Like
sequins that you could go like
yes,
this.
yes.
I did that way before that was even trendy.
So you're a trendsetter over there.
I was, it's funny when you look back. It's like kinda, maybe I don't know. It was actually a little bit harder to do the stuff that I did back then. People can do a lot more now.
Mhm. And do you plan, like, I know that was a while ago, and you've moved
Yeah,
past in a career in cosmetology, like dermatology.
dermatology. Yeah.
Would you not go back to music, or have you thought about
No, I think I think there is something coming.
it? Ooh.
Um, there definitely is, but it's taking its little time. It's
Mhm.
sometimes when you do I have my cosmetic dermatology life, but also there's still I'm an
Me.
entertainer
Yeah.
ultimately. But yes, there is something,
Something's
it's going to be a
coming.
minute. It's coming, but it takes a minute. It's a
So,
lot of
like,
finding a balance in your life, you know.
so when did you get into getting a cosmetology like cosmetic like license and everything and landing like
So
being on TLC?
interesting. So when I moved to LA, I actually got into the Botox world. So that was also kind of like my side job, kind of like I'm doing now, but I do it full
Yeah.
time. So I got into like Botox in a sense,
Hmm.
and then
Everyone
cosmetic
loves
dermatology.
Botox.
Everybody keeps a little bow in their life. Um, no, and I loved it, but then I was on tour. But then this practice came and they said, "Hey, will you come back?" And I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "You're really good at this." I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." So
Yeah.
I started working at these cosmetic dermatology practices and doing the music. It was all balanced. It was all about
Yeah.
balance. Um, and that kind of got cut short, obviously, when I moved back to
Mhm.
Kansas City to take care of my mom. So when my mom died and my cancer treatment was done, my mom died during my cancer treatments. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. And there's that whole little side of me that's like, don't ever take a day for granted because
Yeah.
I
You
would
never
lay in a
know.
bed and I'm like, oh my gosh. Even this weekend, I was like, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm tired. I made myself do it because I remember what it was like to be in bed,
Hmm.
and just couldn't do anything. So then, when basically my mom died,
Hmm.
I was done with my cancer. It was like 2017. I was like, what do I do?
Hmm.
So I went back to the world that I knew actually that I could withstand, and I wasn't really
Yeah.
performing, I wasn't recording or doing anything like that. So I started with this practice. This practice happened to have one of my childhood friends in it, and that was one of the doctors.
Hmm.
And went for a few years, and then randomly out of the blue, I mean, life was just going, and TLC approached because they had saw a YouTube video, and asked if they were interested in doing the TV show, and of
Oh,
course, yes. So
of course, yes.
it was honestly a fluke, though. I mean, it was just one of those fluke things that happened.
Really?
Um, we filmed the television show for about I'm going to say 2 years because we shot the pilot and then it went for a few months. We didn't hear anything. And then we're filming, they were casting,
Oh,
they
wow.
casted it, then they would give us the patients. And then we went into production filming the first round. And then it went for several months with like nothing. And then they came back to do the reveals several months later. It's funny because nah, I can't say that. I was definitely much better looking on the second time they filmed because no, um, it's funny how reality TV works. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. But it worked. Like I mean,
It was like a fluke.
it was a fluke, and it happened just to be the right thing. One of my childhood friends is the doctor. I was the director of the hair center, and like together we made magic, and it worked. And then
But
what's even more interesting is here in Kansas City, um, there's so many reality people like that I've met. I
really?
don't know how. Sorry. Okay. I don't know how. I don't know how like the world is attracting because one of my other friends was the very first Bachelor, like season one, OG
Oh my
Bachelor.
God. OG Bachelor.
Oh, gee, season one. My other friend, I can't remember what season she won of Survivor. Um,
Oh, wow.
and then
Bachelor Survivor.
Right. And then my other friend was on Top Chef, and then we're on TLC. So, like, Kansas City, we got it going on.
Yeah, like, oh my God, that's where people should be moving these days.
I know Kansas City is popping. I'm downtown right now, but yeah.
You have any advice for anyone that's like going into the medical field? I feel like you went from music and like being an entertainer, and then you randomly just kind of went into the dermatology medical field. How would you tell anyone trying to get into that?
I would tell them, obviously, you have to, with anything, like even the TLC show, you have to put the work in.
Hmm.
Without the work, there's no reward. And I
Yeah,
look at that because sometimes I'm like, well, why isn't this happening? It's because I didn't put the work in.
yeah.
Like, it's not about the idea. It's really about the execution and the journey of it because you really have to put the work in. You can do anything you want, literally anything you want. But if you're not willing to do the right things to make that happen, it's not going to happen.
We love an
So that's kind
honest
of
king.
right. I mean, you really have to put the work in it. I mean, there's going to be tough times. There's going to be great times. There's going to be a lot of like times where you're like, I'm going to pull all of my hair out because I'm done. But it all works out, and it if you put the work in, you're willing to do it. It could be like the most amazing outcome. Um, I like the TLC show. There was a lot of work that went into that, but it was an amazing outcome. Just even for me personally, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm tap dancing on TLC. That's kind of cool. Like, so that was cool. But yeah, you really just work and really stay focused on what you're doing. Don't let shiny little dangly things, you know, distract you. Or like a little squirrel. I have, an ADD moment where it's like squirrel, but the little dangly things,
Girl.
don't let any distractions. And if you want to be it, do it. And if you want to do it,
Yeah.
be it. Those are the main things.
Where are you right now in your career life? You said there's a law
Right
firm
now,
coming up.
so right now I am developing, so after the TV show,
Mhm.
um, recently I have joined another practice and I am developing the aesthetic practice of that practice in Kansas
Oh,
City. So yeah, so like it's great. Like I feel like I'm making Kansas City just a little bit more youthful, just
a
just
little more
enhanced
boat. A little
a
more
little more.
boat.
And I think a lot of that gets a lot of bad. It gets a little bit of a bad reputation. But Botox and the fillers and cosmetic dermatology are meant to be like, you know, to help you feel and look your
Yeah,
best.
like a
It's not.
confidence booster. I feel like
Yeah.
it's becoming more like accepting now than it was like a few years
Oh yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Like me being in college, like girls are getting lip flips, like girls are getting fillers
yeah.
or boob jobs. Like it's becoming more norm,
If you
which
want to do it, if it makes
yeah.
you feel good about yourself, do it.
And like
100%.
some people, you have the old school people that are like, no, no, no. But like
Oh, I'll
also,
never do that.
if
Yeah.
you're ever insecure about yourself, you can put a little bow in there. I know a few people that do a facelift, do everything.
That's right. I mean, if you want it, do it. I'm considering doing something myself right now. Might as well. I'm sitting there going, okay,
Maybe,
why
yes.
not? I kind of want to do it. But I feel like, if anything that you can do to enhance yourself is going to make you feel better about yourself. It's just going to give you more confidence in life.
Mhm.
And like, if you want it, do it. If you don't want it, don't do it. And don't judge somebody who does it. But for the most part, like that's kind of what I'm all about. It's just making
Yeah,
people. It's funny. People just think Botox or filler or skin, whatever. It's actually way more emotional and like inner than I
yeah,
think people realize. And like, Botox is not brain surgery.
yeah.
We are saving some lives because in a sense, we're making people feel good about themselves. And ultimately people want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel loved and they want to feel good about themselves.
Who is your biggest role model?
Oh my gosh. So I struggled with this one. So,
Mhm.
okay. There are prominent people in this world who I think, everybody should be their own leader in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, there are people that I look up to that, I would think, oh yeah, this is how I need to be more like.
Mhm.
But I got to be honest, like I feel like everybody should be their own role leader. I
Oh,
feel
look at
like,
you being no, I'm just
you know,
kidding.
thank you. You can call me, what is it, Oprah? Or somebody. No, I feel like, you're going to put out the person you want to be, and
Mhm.
you're going to attract the people that how you're acting in a sense. Like you, you attract the person you want to be. Is that right? Wait,
Yeah.
you
I
become
get
the person
your
you want.
drift.
Something like that. No, like, it's at the end of the day, like we're all human and
Mhm.
we should be role models for each other. Like there's so much shit and hate and
I
crap in the
know.
world. Like it needs to stop. Like, and I feel like if we all act like we're our own role models, and that would be in a good direction because maybe everyone would start acting like a normal human being and
Yeah,
not
not a
being
crazy
a
person. Yep.
disaster. No, like, and you know, you have to lead by example, right? So,
Mm.
like, if you're acting a fool, and your friends are going to act like a fool, so be the role model,
Yeah.
and like, you be the one to take charge and be your own role leader. Like, look from within and be like, this is the person I want to be or want to become. And I think that's really important. Like, instead of, yes, there are people that you look up to, but
Hmm.
like you need to become the person that people look up to.
I like that advice. Wow, look at
Yeah,
you.
we should.
What's your favorite cocktail? Like, what is like
Oh my
your?
God. Okay. Hands down right now. So I go through phases. Right now, I am a Bloody Mary person, a Grey
Oh,
Goose Bloody Mary. It's okay. And this is why it is literally breakfast in a glass, it is lunch in a glass, and it is dinner in a glass. So you don't even have to eat. I'm just obsessed with Bloody Marys right now. Before it was Aperol Spritz, like I was
Ooh,
100% Aperol Spritz. Um, no, Bloody Marys, 100% Bloody Marys right now.
Bloody Marys. Have you ever had a Moscow Mule? Those are like my drinks right now.
Oh, they were. It's a little sweet, but yeah, like actually, I like the glass because it's like cold on your mouth.
Yeah,
But last night, what did I have? Oh my gosh, I can't get on my thing. It was a little cold here, and my dog. I have a dog named Hoochie Mama. She's a pug.
I love
Um,
that.
I might have brought her down, but she just interrupted everything. No, I had this like little warm. It was hot cocoa with Captain Morgan and peppermint
Ooh,
schnapps, and
ooh,
it wasn't like Christmassy. It was just like, oh my
like a
God, I want to
dessert
have this
drink,
every. It
like a
was
sweet
totally
treat.
delicious. It was so good. But no, my go-to drink right now is 100% Bloody Marys. In fact, people are making fun of me like, I'm gonna get them a Bloody Mary. Um, but normally it would be Aperol Spritz.
Ooh,
So let's go with two: Aperol
well,
Spritz,
spritz,
Bloody
Bloody
Mary.
Mary. Who's
Ask
your
me next week; it might be this little cocoa thing.
cocoa thing at night?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who's your celeb crush right now? Do you
Oh,
have
I know.
one or
Oh my God. I'll go with well, it depends. So I think Taylor Swift is hot. And I didn't before,
she's an
but I
iconic
think she is
queen?
hot. She is. I have to be honest, I was never really up the Taylor Swift train, but I love her now and I just think she's hot. But the Biebs is always
The Biebs.
is still like
I
yummy.
love the Biebs. I love the Biebs.
Um I definitely think there are some room for improvements with some people. But I'm still, I mean, the Thieves is like, I still, every time I look at like Instagram or something, it pops up I'm like, oh,
There,
all right.
he's a fine looking man. I like
I was like,
Leonardo DiCaprio when he was young, like
oh,
young.
totally.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about older.
yeah,
I don't
me
really
either.
know him as older though, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
in my mind, he's the young one, like every
And then,
time.
yeah, like Titanic days, like old
Yes,
retro. Yeah. No,
Titanic days.
yeah, no, that's a good choice. But no, I think the Biebs is like, he has that kind of like
Edgy.
douchey, yeah, edgy, but still like wholesome. I don't know.
Are
How
you?
old is he now?
I think he's like 20. Or is he like 27 or 30?
I'm saying he's like 30 or something right now.
Are you Team Selena or is Team Haley Bieber with all that drama?
You know, um, I don't know too much about their drama,
Ah,
but
actually,
we'll go with Selena.
we love a rare beauty queen.
Is that yeah? I like
That's our like
Selena.
makeup brand that like everyone like thrives about.
Is that what I mean? Who are most people after? Selena or
A lot of people are Team Selena right now. Because if you like
oh,
take a deep dive into things, like Haley
uh,
Bieber, like it's like not like everyone's fan favorite right now.
really?
Yeah.
I've seen. I didn't realize that he had a. Are they married? They're married. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're married.
I didn't realize that. It kind of hurt my heart a little bit. I was like,
Yeah, I know they've been married for 3 years.
that's 3 years too much. He needs to divorce her and call me,
Yeah.
and then we'll
He
call
needs to be
Selena.
single back on the
Uh,
street.
that's right. That's right.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for coming on BS with Bella.
Yeah, we'd love to BS with Bella anytime. Next time we have to have cocktails or like
Oh, we should
Bloody
do a nice
Marys.
little cocktail. If you're ever coming to New York City, I'm right near there. We could.
I come to New York all the time,
Oh, I would
so
love to have a little, cocktail podcast with you.
love it.
Well, tune in next week, guys, for another episode. Bye.